Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Editor-in-Chief of Total Retail. I'm joined on today's episode by Abigail James, who is the Senior Vice President of Marketing at Macy's. Abby and I are going to be discussing the recently completed holiday season and what Macy's saw from its business this past holiday season. We're also going to talk a lot about the Macy's Own Your Style platform, something Abigail and her team have worked a lot on. So thanks for joining me today, Abigail.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
So to get us started, I noted as we record this, we're still in December, but this is going to be published shortly after the new year. So let's talk a little bit about holiday marketing and the strategy you employed at Macy's. What did you try to do this year to engage customers and get them to shop with Macy's?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that question, Joe. You know, holiday is just a really, really special time just for our customers, for our colleagues, for everyone who's engaged. It's a moment in a time where people really get an opportunity to take a moment and to celebrate however they're celebrating across the holiday. And within this time frame for us, we really have this opportunity to be able to be this wonderful destination of inspiration, a destination of experience, and really be able to help our customers throughout this time frame. So for this holiday in particular, we were really looking at how are our customers celebrating the individuality. And our brand platform that we launched this year, Own Your Style, is really this, at the center of it is a discussion of the individual and how we are uniquely positioned at Macy's to help that individual as they're going through their style journey and beginning to express themselves. And holiday is no different. You know, when we think about the energy and the excitement of this time frame, we think about the fun, we think about how we're bringing families together. One of the expressions that we've had this holiday season is give love, give style, and how we're bringing that to life really as part of this brand platform. As we think about this moment, you know, our customer goes through different ways of celebration, new traditions, holiday traditions, and there's this intrinsic level of joy that comes within this time frame. So as we've looked at holiday and our communication, we've talked about how we're curating things and gifts, making it easier for them to really complete what are sometimes the hard things that you have to get through in this time frame. How do we make it easy with inspiration, with curation, with great value, and be able to help our customers give love, give style through this holiday season?
So you talked about Macy's being a destination during the holiday season, and I think back to my childhood. We used to always go to the Center City, Philadelphia Macy's location. There was always the holiday light show at the store. I now do that actually with my children. We go in and we see the light show at Macy's, and my wife will even do some shopping while we're there as well. So things like that, making it a destination. How does that factor into the behaviors you see from your customers this past holiday season, both in store, as we talked a lot about it being a destination, but also online, and how those two channels can work together?
I love that question, Joe, and I love it as someone who's been a Macy's colleague. I love to hear people's stories about how they first encountered the brand and how they celebrate the holidays with the brand. Similar to you, I have a story that is an experiential story that begins with a Thanksgiving Day parade, and we had to rush to my grandfather's house and get there before parade kicked off at that moment. And we sat in front of the TV with orange juice glasses and had this wonderful parade experience. And so many of our colleagues have those stories. So many of our customers have those stories where they're really encountering Macy's in an experiential point of view. And I think our customer is an omni-channel customer. They shop in stores, they shop online, they shop in both channels, they seek inspiration and experience in all of those different platforms. And really through this holiday season, as we've thought about give love, give style, and how that comes together, and this togetherness, this gift curation, and this experience, we're really having that come through in all of those platforms. So whether someone's coming to the parade, whether someone visits Santaland, whether someone goes to the light show, whether someone goes to restaurant experiences in our physical stores. We also have the wonderful curation within the gift finder on our Macy's.com website. We have wonderful experiences as you go through shopping through gifts, whether it be by price point, by great brands, or gift list. If you don't know what to get somebody who you're shopping for the coffee enthusiast, or for the book reader, or for any of these different customers that you're shopping for and family members that you're shopping for, we've really created this wonderful experience for them in all of these platforms. And I get a little personal smile every time I hear someone's Macy's story, and it's starting with an experience.
Yep, it's always been something we've done, and it's always been a fun experience. So as you think about the behaviors that you've seen this holiday season, and as we start a new year, what do you take from holiday shopping behavior, and does that translate into what you start to plan for in 2023 and your strategy for looking at kind of marketing Macy's as we start a new year? What translates? What's different? Talk a little bit about that as we begin a new year, as I noted.
Yeah, just excellent question. And I think the customer is constantly evolving. Their need state change, their interest levels evolve, the destination or the category of business that they're looking at evolves. I think we've definitely seen through the last several years different product categories change. And part of the work that we all do in partnership across the entire enterprise is to really study this customer, their behavior, their tastes, their preferences, their interests, their need states, and really be able to solve and curate assortments to be able to solve what those issues are. And as we think about our marketing strategy and how we bring that to life, that was the big essence of Own Your Style. Own Your Style as a brand platform was really rooted in customer insight and really talking about how we as Macy's are uniquely positioned to be able to deliver advice, inspiration, and value to our customer. We've got great brands within the assortment. Really, how are we curating and creating these experiences of inspiration, and how are we really showing value across the fullness of our enterprise, from really off-price all the way through to luxury. So as we think about, the movement into 2023, there's definitely lessons and opportunities and flourishing things that we're seeing from both as a gifting destination as well as self-purchase. We think about, in the early part of 23, we're going to be right on Valentine's Day, and then Mother's Day and Father's Day are right in there. We also would have spring fashion moments and change of season. So as we think about that brand platform and how it expresses across that season, again, it's a full enterprise is with Own Your Style and a brand platform. And that comes through in terms of how we market and how we're communicating with our customer across all of the different touch points.
And I'm going to dig into that Own Your Style platform, because I know you and your team have done a lot of work there. I'm just going to follow up real quickly on kind of start of the year too. And, as you look to think about getting customers back into stores to start the year, there's, gift card traffic, and also even something as returns, which could be a negative, obviously can be turned into a positive if you get people returning products into your stores and shopping other areas of the department store. Talk a little bit about kind of getting that traffic into stores after the gifting season, when everyone is busy and out and shopping, thinking about kind of, what's always thought about a little slower of a period as we start the new year, what you're thinking about at Macy's to kind of continue that momentum from the holidays.
See, Joe, I see those as all opportunities. Every moment, when a customer is engaging with the brand, it's an opportunity. And through Own Your Style and the work of Own Your Style, as I had mentioned earlier, there was a tremendous amount of customer insight that went into developing the brand platform. And it is something that's really about understanding the individual and celebrating that individual. So when you think about these opportunities that customers come in at the turn of the year or anytime throughout the year, how are we really ensuring and showcasing for them how we're uniquely positioned to understand them as individuals? So that crosses through product, it crosses through the experience, it crosses through the different touch points that they're having, whether it be live shopping, whether it be in-store shopping, whether it be digital platforms and curation moments, whether it be through emails or SMS or social. There's different touch points of when we get that opportunity to inspire. And I think as our customer is really looking at the top of 2023, coming off of this gifting holiday, you think about there's a full year, and every one of those moments become experiences, whether you're self-purchasing or you're gift purchasing. And Own Your Style is one of those opportunities where we have that ability to really focus on both of those entities of style, of fashion, of newness, of gift categories, of categories of business, whether it be fragrances or jewelry. That's one of the beauties of really being in a department store, is to be able to have these moments where you have both expected and unexpected content, and how our Own Your Style platform can help showcase that for customers for whatever their need states are. I think as you think through the last several years, the need states have changed, for our customers, and they'll continue to evolve. I was definitely someone who had never bought an UGG in her life, and bought some wonderful UGGs in the early part of 2020, and then got a little more glam as time had gone on, and put on some heels, in a different way. And the need states have shifted. Our customer has also made those decisions. And as we roll into 2023 and the years beyond, the brand platform of Own Your Style helps us to express that, as you can see all of those different need states and the customer elements.
Yeah, that individuality within the Own Your Style platform. And I think you've done a great job of kind of explaining to the audience what that Own Your platform is all about. My question to you is, can you talk about the role of marketing? Now you've created this strategy internally. You want to get that awareness out there to the audience of what Own Your Style is and how customers can really live it. So talk about creating that awareness and understanding of what you've done at Macy's with the Own Your Style platform.
Wonderful, Joe. And I'm so excited about the Own Your Style platform, and how it's really, I think the big clarity point that has happened with us within the organization is that Own Your Style is not a marketing tagline. This is a brand platform, and it's something that's engaging and is driven by the entire organization. So this is from our store teams to our operations teams to, marketing groups, to our digital teams, to our customer teams. Like, every entity of the company is really touching and driving and advocates for Own Your Style. And it's been incredibly engaging and enlightening and challenging, I think, for me personally, as we've gone through this process, to see where all of these strong and amazing ideas have come from as we start to build against Own Your Style. And at the store level, when you think about it at the store level, our store colleagues are owning their style with their wardrobe, how they're dressing in stores, how they're expressing themselves within this space. When you think about the clienteling that happens at a store level, as they're creating new relationships with customers as they walk in, and helping them solve whatever they're looking for as individuals on that day, whether it be a gift or a self-purchase within that time frame. We think about how we're working through our visual executions in terms of stores, and showing inspiration of brands and great value in terms of all of those different strike points. And of course, within our digital landscape, how are we creating outfit suggestions? How are we discovering new product? And how are those tools coming really front and forward within the customer? And through social, even, how are we using influencers, our Macy's style crew, Macy's live shopping? There's so many touch points, Joe, to Own Your Style, and the enterprise force that's really bringing that together. It really helps to elevate and drive a brand platform, not a marketing line. And as the marketing girl says that as she's sitting in here living and breathing, all things Own Your Style in this space, it's really an all-in enterprise. And that's what makes it so powerful. And what really, like, the energy that's coming from the entire organization on Own Your Style is part of it. But the most powerful thing is it's about the individual, and it's about the customer and how they are owning their style. It's our role to help them. They own their individual style.
Yeah, and you speak about that, Abigail, from the marketing team perspective, and I think you did a great job of encapsulating it. And you talked about it it's an all-in across the enterprise. So it's not just marketing. You talk about the merchant teams and your store teams and your digital teams, and the list goes on. So talk a little bit about kind of the collaboration that has taken place with those teams across the organization to get this Own Your Style platform launched and executed. I know it's been a lot of work.
That it has been incredibly great work, and I think the fun part about it is that the blue sky ideas are endless. You know, the ideas that you think about that I wonder if we could. You know, I wonder if we touch this. Have we ever thought about that? You know, those ideas are percolating throughout the entire organization, and you know, of course, we've had to have the right operational structure and the right cadence of meetings and all of those things to get them engaged. But I think for first and foremost, it was really the alignment across the organization that our brand platform of Own Your Style was something that was so true to our customer, that this is and uniquely positioned for Macy's, that this is the opportunity for us to really celebrate and communicate that. And I think the second thing that really helped in that regard was the discussion that great ideas come from everywhere. Right. So all facets and pieces of the organization were bringing these amazing ideas to the table and really thinking through how their function drives against really celebrating and communicating Own Your Style for the customer, and how are we getting that front and forward. So this the data really put us into this position, the customer insights, the research, the forensic study of this optimism and joy, you know, that's happening within our customer. It was galvanizing really across the organization, that got some really wonderful ideas to the plate and created a launch structure as well as a multi-year roadmap of how we continue to drive against Own Your Style as this brand platform. And that's, as I mentioned, I just kind of teased and said the blue sky ideas, but the roadmap has got these blue sky ideas, and some of them need, you know, time for development. Some of them will push and move forward, and some will be refined and edited to the next phase. But this energy across the organization has really been incredible. And I've been very fortunate, you know, to be in marketing in this space and to help work through with the teams how we start to bring them into market. And it's incredibly exciting to be working on a piece of the business in this brand platform that is so deeply entwined with the customer. And it really talks about how you're speaking to a customer base that's with you today and who will be with you tomorrow, and how we're thinking about changing, you know, and growing and developing and having this full line sight on the new customer. So it's fantastic. It's been really great with Own Your Style and the new brand platform.
Yeah, and I'd imagine it's a continual process, right? So you're
Absolutely.
measuring and seeing what's working, why it's working, and then trying to optimize there. So this is not just a launch and kind of forget about it. This is a continual, and you're kind of living it day to day.
100%. This is not a set it and forget it. This is one that continually evolves as we go forward. And that's one of the great things about pushing all of these amazing ideas forward. And it also gives you new platforms to push into. You know, when you think about the media landscape, continuously evolves. You know, and I think about my tenure at Macy's and my tenure in marketing. There's so many things that have changed and grown and have evolved over the timeline. And as we think of Own Your Style, we are also looking forward in terms of how we're going to be going into the metaverse in a different way, or how are we using social in a different way, or how are we looking at new levels of innovation and tech that happens in our stores and on our site. So as we look at Own Your Style and those roadmap, pushing into those new opportunities is also incredibly engaging, and have some amazing folks and colleagues on the team that are really pushing into these spaces with test and learn and iterates and test and learn and iterates, which has been really exciting.
So lastly, Abigail, as an expert here in the retail marketing space, and going to broaden the horizon a little bit, and from an industry-wide perspective, is there a marketing trend or maybe a consumer behavior as we begin this new year that you're really bullish on and are closely monitoring?
I think looking forward, I think the territory where a lot of folks are interested and don't have a lot of yet visibility as to what the possibility is really in the metaverse and the different actions in that space. There's such a level of community that's happening in the metaverse. And that's something that is also so deeply entwined with our Macy's customers. And when you think about the territory of what's happening, these innovative spaces, some of the unique moments that are happening, the creativity that's happening in the space of digital fashion moving to in real life fashion, and storytelling and art and all of that within the zone. I think that's a very interesting territory that we're all going to learn a lot about. And at Macy's, we have done some really incredible work into the space related around some of our celebration moments, just like the Thanksgiving Day parade that we just had. And the possibilities in this territory, I think, is something that's really exciting. I think also our customers in general are really looking at companies and opportunities and places where they're feeling wanted. They're feeling that it's someone for them, a brand for someone like them. And when we think about our communications within this space, our customer is so very diverse in their tastes and their preferences, in their how they spend their time, all of those elements within the space. So as we think about how we all and the total industry show up, there's a belongingness that needs to come through where customers are feeling and understanding that we are there for him. We're their customer, for him, for her, for they, within these spaces. And the communities become really important. So as I think about metaverse activities, when I think about our communication, as I think about own your style and the individuality that comes through in the celebration of who you are as a person, I think that's the territory that we're all looking at.
Yeah, sounds really exciting, and the opportunity there. And you've kind of laid the groundwork with the launch of the Own Your Style platform to help move towards that vision. So I want to take the opportunity to thank Abigail James, the Senior Vice President of Marketing at Macy's, for joining us on this episode of Total Retail Talks. Thank you, Abigail.
Thank you so much, Joe. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to come on and spend some time with you and your listeners. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.